In this video, I'll show you the importance of relaxing on a regular and consistent basis. We've talked about a few ways to cope with stress: creative problem solving, importance of controlling your thoughts, time management, exercising, etc. Now let's talk about relaxation. The primary purpose of the relaxation techniques is to intercept the stress response at the fourth level, your physical reactions to stress. Or the primary purpose is to get your body into a calm, peaceful, and relaxed state, which is impossible to do unless you also get your mind into a relaxed state as well. For this reason, it's important to incorporate both coping and relaxation techniques. They're meant to go hand in hand. They work best when done together because they complement and augment each other. The relaxation techniques are not as powerful unless you use them with coping techniques, specifically cognitive restructuring and vice versa. For example, taking a couple of deep breaths, relaxation technique, and thinking how a stressful situation could have been worse and being grateful it wasn't, coping technique, is much more effective than just doing one or the other. One thing that's important to understand is that the relaxation and coping techniques can certainly be done in response to a stressful situation, but it's much better to practice them on a regular and consistent daily basis, regardless of whether you're experiencing stressors. Just like eating healthy foods every day nourishes your body, it's important to nourish your mind every day. Well, learning how to relax our body and mind on a regular and consistent basis can have tremendous benefits. In fact, studies have shown that those who meditate every day live longer than those who don't. It's been said that tension is who you think you should be, relaxation is who you are. Natural highs produce a relaxation response without the use of a substance. Natural highs can be just as powerful as using a substance with getting you into a relaxed state. The key is practice. Studies indicate that those who make an intentional effort to relax on a regular and consistent basis are able to get their bodies into an extremely relaxed state compared to those who don't. Everyone is different in terms of what provides a peaceful, euphoric feeling. Think about what causes a natural high for you. How quickly are you able to conjure up at least 2 or 3 natural high activities? I mentioned this in a previous video, but there are problems with relying on substances to make you feel good. Alcohol provides a short-lived high followed by the opposite emotion. Anxiety, irritability, and anger are life-depleting emotions that can result when the alcohol is wearing off. Drugs give you an artificial high followed by the extreme opposite when you're coming down. Coffee, especially caffeine, can give you a short rush of energy, but oftentimes it's followed by fatigue. Sweets and also high-fat foods give you a jolt of pleasure followed by just the opposite as your body crashes from all the sugar. None of these substances provides a high that's sustainable. Natural highs are created within and give you greater mental ability, emotional strength, and energy. What are the best natural highs? What natural highs cause endorphin levels to increase, which makes you feel happier and more relaxed? Well, here are some examples. Of course, exercise causes a release of endorphins. After only 15 to 20 minutes of aerobic exercise, endorphins are released and result in a mood and energy boost for 2 to 3 hours after the exercise has stopped. And it can cause a mild quote-unquote buzz or high for up to 24 hours. There's also some evidence that lifting weights can have the same effect. Sex, or even simply touching or hugging or holding hands with a romantic partner, can cause the release of oxytocin, which makes you feel good. Just an FYI, an 8-second hug appears to cause a higher level of oxytocin than a quick 3-second hug. All types of meditation are associated with increased endorphin levels. Unfortunately, many people are put off by meditation because they think of a formal, stiff-backed, legs-crossed posture. But we'll talk about how easy it is to meditate in another video. Another suggestion for a natural high is conjuring up images of nature that cause you to feel relaxed in the past. A former student described how relaxed he became during his first time snorkeling while vacationing in the Caribbean. I think it's interesting that hospital patients with a view of trees and flowers recovered significantly quicker from their surgery compared to those with a view of a brick wall. This was an interesting study. So, nature can have a way of getting us into a relaxed state. Dark chocolate contains a compound that causes the release of endorphins and generates feelings of contentment. Chilies contain a compound which cause pain in the mouth, leading the brain to conclude the mouth is being burned. So a flood of endorphins are sent to the mouth. Grapes and oranges are high in vitamin C, which promotes endorphin production. Music can actually produce endorphin release. Have you ever gone to a concert or a choral performance that ended with a piece so piercing that it took your breath away? Science has confirmed the existence of the euphoric, music-induced quote-unquote chills. In one study, each participant's chosen music exclusively produced activity in brain areas associated with euphoria-inducing stimuli. Another natural high is laughter. Laughter causes a release of endorphins that help you feel good. Watch those funny YouTube videos 5 minutes a day or do whatever helps you laugh. Relaxation techniques definitely can provide a euphoric feeling and are considered to be a type of natural high. And I should mention, the more you engage in a natural high, the more effective it becomes. Couple of suggestions. Find a quiet, private place to do these relaxation techniques so you're not distracted. There's one study that showed that students perform better on exams if they studied in the same place compared to different places. It's like their brain went into autopilot and they were able to zoom into studying. Same thing goes for relaxing. Do the relaxation techniques in the same quiet place so your brain goes into autopilot and knows it's time to relax. Try several different techniques. What works for one person may not work well for you. The only way to find out what works well for you is to try different techniques. This is a comment for one of my former students regarding his experience with a technique called progressive relaxation. It's a type of relaxation technique where you tense and then release your muscles. I love progressive relaxation. I've had a hard time getting into the techniques that involve deep breathing. I'm just not a deep breathing type of guy, I guess. And here's a reaction from another student in response to the very same technique. Sorry, Dr. Fish, but I hated this technique. I felt like it stressed me out more. Seriously, I think I was more stressed after doing this than I was before I did it. I hope that's okay to be completely honest. I know you said to be honest. So to each their own. Another suggestion is to be patient with these techniques. Some people have to try a technique a couple of times before it clicks. I'm learning how to relax, doctor. I want to relax better and faster and be on the cutting edge of relaxation. It doesn't work like that. Last recommendation, get enough sleep. It's important to understand that sleep is not necessarily the same thing as relaxation. Have you ever felt exhausted when you woke up in the morning because you didn't get a good night's sleep? If you use a fitness tracker, you might see that you got a good amount of total sleep, but you didn't get enough deep sleep. If you have a difficult time staying awake doing a relaxation technique or any natural high activity, it usually means you're not getting enough sleep. If you can, make a conscious effort to get a bit more shut-eye. Here's a story I found. Don't know if it's a true story or not, but it's cute. An older, tired-looking dog wandered into my yard. I could tell from his collar and well-fed belly that he had a home and was well taken care of. He calmly came over to me. I gave him a few pats on his head. Then he followed me into my house, slowly walked down the hall, curled up in the corner, and fell asleep. An hour later, he went to the door and I let him out. The next day he was back, greeted me in the yard, walked inside, resumed his spot in the hall, and again slept for about an hour. This continued off and on for several weeks. Curious, I pinned a note to his collar. I would like to find out who the owner of this wonderful, sweet dog is and ask if you are aware that almost every afternoon your dog comes to my house for a nap. The next day he arrived for his nap with a different note pinned to his collar. He lives in a home with 6 children, 2 under the age of 3. He's trying to catch up on his sleep. Can I come with him tomorrow? So do what you have to do to get enough sleep. Learning to relax on a regular and consistent basis is important to our overall health and well-being. Let's talk about the physical senses of sight and sound and the role they play with relaxation in my next video.